What is going on, guys? Triple G here with another Borderlands 3 video, and today we're going to break down the crystals, as this seems to be something that people seem to be getting stuck on, and it's a common misconception that you need to there is a set time limit. The only time limit is on each individual crystal. So each crystal starts with about a third kind of lit up as each crystal is. So basically what you need to do here is really simple. If you start with one crystal, get it to about halfway to 75% of the way up, then what you can do, you can rotate to the next one and get that to the same amount of height, so get it to about 75%. If you look back at that first crystal, you will notice that it has barely moved, so you will have plenty of time. So you get crystal 1 to 75%, you get crystal 2 to 75%, move over to 3. What you will be able to do at 3 is actually sit there, get crystal 3 up to 100%, and then move on. In the video here, you see how I just moved, and the crystal was about actually 80 to 90% of the way up, pretty much near enough there. So I will sit here now till I get the crystal to halfway, and then we will move forward in the video. And as we move forward in the video, you can see I'm now on crystal 3. Crystal 1 somehow, I'm not quite sure, went from like 90% to 100% without us even being on there, and now it's just a case of getting this one over the line. So once you've activated the third crystal in a row, that seems to be the trigger point for the kind of crystal headed, I don't really know what the proper word is, but the dudes that blow up when you shoot their brain. So this is just about getting that third crystal up to 75%, and then what I will do is I will rock back to crystal 2, and as you can see, when I've gone back to crystal 2, I'll clear the enemies and we'll be just topping up now that crystal. All the while, what seems to happen here is that because you are rotating through the crystals and not trying to do one at a time, it seems to populate far less ads. If you look in the minimap on the right hand side of the screen, I've barely got any ads around me, and I think it's because we're topping up the crystals at the same time, so we've got multiple portals open and it's just not proccing as many ads, so it makes life a hell of a lot easier. So you'll notice that we are still just topping off crystal 2, and we will then get that proc very shortly here. And then we will just very calmly move over to crystal 3 and repeat the process. And that's the first set of crystals done. No dramas, no timeouts, no shaking floor, no problems. So the second set of crystals is a little bit more difficult, just because the fact that you need to traverse the map. They're a little bit further apart. So the same theory applies though here, guys. We are going to charge up a crystal to about 50 to 75%, and then we're going to move on to the next crystal. Now the beauty of this one is that I'm able to see in the background crystal 1 that's up on the center platform there, so you can already see that we've lost maybe 20%, but this crystal is nice and high at the top now. So we're going to move over to crystal 3, and again when we go across there, and you can actually see here I actually managed to complete that crystal really fast. Again, the reason that was because we're using multiple crystals and moving around. I'd left some ads at the top, and that meant that we didn't spawn as many ads on that second crystal, which meant I didn't have any problems in keeping them off the platform, and that crystal charged in super quick time. So as I'm killing enemies on this second platform, I'm consciously just ever so often just having a little bit of a look to see when the first crystal is going to pop, what percentage is it kind of depleted. So I do take a little bit of a risk here when I decide to do it, because this crystal is so close to the 100%. I decide to stay here and try and get this one over the line. Now that does present a risk, so you can see in the background that the crystal is very close to maybe about 20% before it's fully depleted. And I've got to take into account that I need to traverse using the jump pads up to that first section, so you do need to take this into account. Now luckily for me, the crystal just popped, and as you can see here, I get to the crystal when it is just like coming down to maybe 10%. So my recommendation would be that what you should do there is go back up to that first crystal, make sure that that doesn't pop, and then just return back to the third. So you would have added maybe 2 or 3 minutes to your time, but what you would have done is put absolutely no risk to your run. So guys, that is it. It is as simple as that. There's no overall enrage counter, no overall timer. It is just the crystals themselves, and if you take your time and rotate through, you've got absolutely no problems at all. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and otherwise guys, I will catch you on the flip.